That's the only other thing I wanted to talk about because we like almost got killed by a skinwalker for that picture.
Yeah. What's up, maniacs? Time to fire up those doobies, because we got with us a band today, no, not from Birmingham, England, or even New Orleans, Louisiana, but rather right here in Virginia, stoner extraordinaire Anastasia. What's up, guys?
Not much. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
No. Thank you guys for being here. Although I got to tell you up front, I wrenched my back something fierce the other day, and I don't even know if like the dankest indica out there could offer relief. So it's like you might see a lot of that feels good. That feels good. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. We just working on this upcoming EP. We've been working on it for about a year now. Taking a lot of influence from a lot of different bands and projects on it. Been working on that about a year. A lot's gone into it.
Wait, this that was released?
Yeah, not yet released.
The upcoming release.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is an early copy.
Oh, wait, this is early.
That is an early copy.
Oh,
You are one of probably like 5 people that has that.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. That's awesome.
We're just glad somebody took it.
Yeah, no, of course. Can I? Is this? I mean, we can always edit this
go
out,
ahead.
but like,
Yeah, show it off.
hell yeah! Oh wow! Isn't that crazy though? That I was saying before, like, other than maybe Book of Worms and Ooga Booga, and now you, I can't think of any other doom bands from Virginia. You know?
There's some out there, but they're not really like super popular. Like I feel like, but there's like, I guess on our scale of like local bands, I can think of a couple. Like is it Greenhead? The guys that we did a show with like years ago. That was like it was with Saturn Death Cult at like the house show. Greenhead.
Halloween one?
Yeah, Greenhead's really good. They put out an album like not long ago.
Greenhead?
Yeah, Greenhead's really
Greenhead.
good. And then Guzzum, they're really good too. Now, with that being said, I've never seen them play live, but I know all of them and they're good musicians, and they opened for Pentagram recently, so they're doing something right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're doing something right.
That's one of the things that I think is really special about doom, right? And I'm gonna quote. Do you remember the band? This is not a doom band. Do you remember the band AC at all?
I don't think
Wait,
so,
how old are
no.
you guys?
25.
Yeah, 25.
All right, you may not remember. AC stood for something. It was an acronym. We'll just leave it at that, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, wait a second. It's like they have an actual name. You're saying the acronym? Anal cunt?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know anal cunt. Yeah, I know
There you go.
anal cunt.
There you go. So I was very fortunate enough to interview Tim Morse, like AC's drummer, for a long time, because he and Fred, also from AC, are in a new band called Burt Bacharach, and it's like it's grind. It's like once again like grind, blurcore as they call it. And he was talking about how a lot of times kids hear it. This is one of the funniest parts of the interview. A lot of times kids hear it and they're like, "Oh, I can do that." And he's like, and then they get up there and they make a fucking racket, right? And I kind of feel like with doom and stoner, it's a similar sort of thing where it's like people are like, "Oh yeah, I can get up and nail a bunch of power chords, throw some thick fuzzy bass in there." And it's like, yeah, I'm Electric Wizard at that point.
Yeah.
But no, and Anastasia really proves that. Like, it's. I mean, I'm not gonna call you guys tech, but it's like it cannot be like easy coming up with the riffs and the melodies. Like, where are you guys at when you're writing?
So I mean, I guess to go with like back of like him and I write very differently. I mean, if you listen to like Green Tip's stuff, that's you do a lot of that, right?
Yeah, a lot of it.
So I mean, him and I write very differently, but I know like I told you earlier before the interview, I'm from Southern Oklahoma, so I mean, I grew up playing like blues and country, and I love metal, and I was getting into metal, but I could never really play that fast. And then I found like Down, I found I Hate God, I found Crowbar, and I was like, I'm doing it like these guys are doing the same thing the blues scales, but it's turned up loud, it's slow, it's groovy, and that's really how like I found that. And how I kind of started writing was I was taking the blues riffs that I used to play on the back porch with my brother, and I realized, I can add a fuzz to them, and I can add, a scale to it, and then I can really make this sound groovy. And then when David and I started writing together, because this album has a lot of doom and sludge elements, I started listening to more like super joint and kind of like fast punk and stuff like that. And then I all of a sudden like basically clicked like, oh, David writes these really badass riffs for a really good band in town. I was like, I need to work we need to work together. So for this album, there's going to be a lot of songs on this album that are a lot faster because him and I started collaborating on our writing a lot. That's at least what I do. I'm not sure what's something you do. I guess when you're writing, you kind of get inspiration. You're writing something for it.
Honestly, everything just comes from like sitting there and noodling. Like I just sit there and I'll play something like, fuck, that sounds pretty cool. And I'll record it like on my phone. Although recently I've been getting better about it. I'll like put it on tabs. This way I don't forget it immediately because my memory's shot sometimes.
Is that from? Well, you guys are a stoner band.
I don't smoke.
Oh, okay.
No.
I do quite a bit. He don't know.
I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah,
honestly,
really.
I'm more from that like that punk, like thrash, that kind of background is like what I mainly listen to. So I guess what those bands are considered like alcoholic bands, I think. Like
it's one of the guys who was working on the production for this album, doing like the mixing, the mastering, when he listened to this album, he said, I know who wrote what part of what song on this, because it's like, if it's slow and bluesy and it's probably Nolan wrote it, but if you're like headbanging, ready to mosh and crowd kill, it's probably David writing it. But I think we did a good job at blending the two sounds, because for a while, that's why him and I didn't really write together, is I'd put a riff together and I'm like, I don't really know how we're going to pair this, but there's a couple songs in particular in this one that I truly feel like our style blends pretty well on it. So
I'm so sorry. I completely forgot before. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves for the camera?
Well, I'm Nolan David. I guess I'm the founder of Anastasia. I've been founding and doing stuff with Anastasia for about 4 years. I play the guitar at Anastasia. I do the vocals and do a lot of the writing for Anastasia.
Yeah, I'm David Lansness. I just kind of ended up in this band at some point. Was it like 23?
It was about 2023. Originally I asked David to play bass for one show, and then he did a good job, and now we're here.
So it was like 2 weeks before the gig, and I'd never played bass before. But I'd been playing guitar for a little bit before that, so it wasn't like the worst thing. He let me use a pick.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was when the first Anastasia show was booked, I didn't have a band. Like, so my friend who does the booking for like the Camel and several of the venues in Richmond, she at the time was booking shows for the very DIY venue called Ipanema. You ever heard of Ipanema?
It was like a song, "The Girl from Ipanema."
Yeah. Well, it was this little tiny, really shitty like basement bar, but it was great because anybody could play there. A lot of bands got the starts there. I mean, we did, Green Chips did, right? A lot of bands got the start there, but she was like, "You want to book a show here?" And I was just like, "Fuck it, sure." I didn't have a band or anything. I just started calling my friends up and being like, "Hey, you want to do this show?
That's
cool." Yeah, but it was definitely running by the skin of my teeth. I was just like, I got these riffs, here's some demos, like some shitty phone recordings, like, you want to hop on at this bar, go play. So that was what we did for the first show, and then we just kind of worked off that.
And I think that's pretty cool. And as a matter of fact, I've seen that happen twice, even more extreme than your example, because at the Camel, actually, the one and only time I've seen the band Buck Goose was I don't know, Travis from Scum City Entertainment. He and Brent also was Scum City for a while, did Buck Goose, but anyway, like when I saw them, it was improv. It was improv.
Oh,
and
really?
Like, yeah, it had to be for like, I don't know, they didn't have time to like practice or something like that. So wow, that's pretty damn cool.
That's really ballsy to me, the improv though, because it's like, at least when we do it, it's like I have a foundation and like, hey, we're playing this, these are the songs. And it's like, I guess it's scary because I'm calling people hoping they pick up and can play. But like doing that plus improv, you really are just like jumping in the deep end, which sometimes can, work out really well.
But I gotta believe it's gotta be a lot harder for you though, because it's like, if you're just playing grind, well, Buck Goose was like very slammy, but let's just say you're playing grind, right? Like, can't be that hard to get up there, and kind of like what Tim Moore said, just make a fucking racket, but like with Doom and Sludge, like you gotta be on,
Yeah.
Like you can play loose from what I hear, but is that true? Would you agree that like yeah, you can play slippery, quote Pepper Keenan, but you gotta be like on, so the songs so the melodies work out, and like.
I definitely feel like the biggest thing with our music, and like I'd say one consistent thing in our writing and for this album people are gonna check out is it grooves. It's got a groove, and I mean I guess groove. You're absolutely right. You can improvise the groove, but you got to pay attention to. I'd say the biggest thing is like the timing.
Yeah, probably.
Like we've had people kind of jam with us and they don't pay attention to the drummer. So, they're playing way too fast, way too slow. But I'm like, with a band like that gets a lot of inspiration and roots from like blues and jazz, there's so much changing and it is slippery. Like Pepper said, I know that interview Pepper saying the Nola sounds very slippery, but you also got to pay attention of like the music's moving, stuff's happening, and it is slippery, but it's like dancing. You can do crazy shit when you're dancing, but if you don't pay attention, you're gonna bust your ass and fall. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like how I view like the groove is because a lot of our songs they groove, they move, and I mean, yeah, there's room for being slippery and improvising, but it's like if you're not paying attention, yeah, you're gonna fall on your face.
Yeah, well, actually, to quote Bauer over here
Uh-huh.
too, because like Bauer's big on.
I love Bauer.
Oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Like, you've probably heard him then over the years talk about how down plays on the backbeat, like behind. But it's
Yes.
like, so I get that. Like, you could do that, but you can't be that behind, or else,
No, I mean it's like I said, it's like dancing. I mean, you can do some goofy shit while you're dancing, but it's like you can't just start doing backflips and expect to land every time. You know what I mean?
Did you happen to see any of that last Ozzy performance, the Back to the Beginning? Like, did you happen to see Guns N' Roses set at all?
No, I saw pieces of that set, like, because it was I wanted to watch it live, and I remember calling him about that and asking, like, "We should watch that live," and I couldn't find where to watch it. The only ones I saw that Tobias Forge did "Bark at the Moon,"
Oh,
and
okay.
then I saw Tool do "Hand of Doom,"
Oh,
and that's all
okay.
I saw. But what happened with Guns N'
Oh, because
Roses?
they played Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and I guess there was an issue with Axl's in-ear, and he was just, like, behind, and, like, if I feel like if there's maybe other than, like, Megalomania, if there's one Sabbath song you don't wanna be, like, really behind on, it's Sabbath Bloody
Yeah, you
Sabbath, you
definitely don't want
know?
to be behind on
No, no,
that.
no. So okay, so you mentioned that, like, this record's gonna be a little bit faster. That is really interesting to me
Mhm.
because would you say it's fair to categorize Anastasia as doom band?
I like saying like Doom Sludge mix because when I think Doom, I'm thinking like very like I think like like Church of Misery.
Yeah.
Okay, I think like Church of Misery, and because that's a very cut and dry doom band, and I think we have a lot of elements of that. But again, when David and I are mixing stuff, it's fast. It's got a lot of that punk thrash element, and you're not gonna find that on like a traditional doom album. Like when I think like a straightforward doom band, I think again like Church of Misery, like Acid Mammoth,
Yeah, hell yeah.
yeah, Mesa, like old Sabbath, stuff like that. And I mean, like, to me, the thing that I like to say Doom Sludge is because it has like a very wide sound of a
Okay.
lot of different bands that kind of come from Doom and Sludge. But I definitely say Doom because like I'd say you think it's fair to say like the first half of this album is very like Doom?
I think so, definitely.
Well, because I'm thinking about the second track. That
Oh,
one's a
yeah.
little more like kind of a mixed mash, but I'd say the first half of that album is like pretty doomy, and then the second half it's just like it's definitely like loses the doom element and gets more into like generalized like sludge, you know. But
Reason I ask is because I can't remember exactly the lineage. You brought up Superjoint before,
mm,
and it's like I wonder if like kids that play in doom bands and like start out like just straight sludge doom, right? Like after the first couple releases, they get a little bit more, I don't know, anxious,
yeah,
ambitious, you want to call it that. And it's like it makes me wonder if like I can't remember for sure like if Down was a band before yeah, I think Down formed before
they
Superjoint.
did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it was almost like, I mean, the first okay, so there was NOLA, and then before Down 2, Superjoint had formed at that point.
I think I could be wrong. I thought Superjoint's first album was like '01.
It was, but,
Oh,
like, but the
okay,
band
but it
itself, like
formed.
yeah, because I remember finding demos in, like, I think
That's
'97, I think.
amazing.
Yeah, it was the, it was the song that ended up, like, Starvation Trip on the second album, and then, they ended up as, like, bonus tracks, I think, on Use What but anyway, the point
Yeah.
I'm trying to make, though, is that, like, it almost kinda makes me wonder if, like, people in doom bands, like, play that and they go hard and heavy in terms of, like, s heavy, of course, yes, but,
Yeah.
like, they're heavily invested, you know, in the doom and slowness, but, like, then they kinda start to go, like, a little bit faster and DBD and stuff. And now I'm wondering what am I gonna stumble onto on this? How's it gonna be different from the last EP, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be way, way different from the last one because the last one we've always had
Really?
like significantly. Like I feel like I don't think they're gonna sound like different bands, but it's like it's gonna be different, and the reason is the foundation is the same of the doom and the sludge. Like I'll never not write a riff that's like not swinging and moving, but and you hear some of that on the first album, but the first album we were taking a lot of inspiration from like Typo Negative, like Him, a lot of like goth rock,
I
you
would
know.
never have thought
Really?
I didn't get that at all, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
we've
not a
been through like a few different iterations, though.
Oh, that's
You
right.
know,
That's right. Because so here's why. So the very, very first Anastasia show, before David even filled in,
I was there at that show, but I wasn't playing.
I was making flamenco music, like classical guitar flamenco music, and then we did that for a show. Yeah, so
Sorry.
it's no worries. But I was making flamenco music. I had a classical guitar, and the setup was two classical guitarists, a bassist, and then a drummer. And we played like flamenco that grooved, you know, like very groovy flamenco. And that was the very first
Whoa.
show. And then after the first show, I was in Richmond and I started seeing rock bands and hardcore bands. And I was like, well, I like that stuff. So then I basically turned up the dial a little bit, and that was how the first EP came out. Was I was taking like flamenco music and like goth rock music, and then just turning up the dial. So that's why like the first album still has a lot of like that flamenco and blues influence, but the second one we started leaning more into again like thrash and sludge. But I still think it's fair to call it like a doom sludge album, especially the first like few songs. It's like I mean they sound very doomy, but
Wow,
yeah.
that is fascinating.
Yeah, it's a pretty like hard shift. It's a very hard shift of like because it was I never intended for this to be a metal band. I was a flamenco band, and then
No shit.
it was gonna be like instrumental flamenco. Like the first show, we didn't even have a mic. It was all just instrumental flamenco, and we were like grooving, playing, and then I was like, well, I kind of want to start a metal band, and then I was like, why don't we just have Anastasia be a metal band, and then now here we are, you know.
Is
So.
is there is there a song that everybody knows, a flamenco song that somehow made its way to the mainstreams, like a for anybody that might be watching that doesn't know flamenco,
Mhm.
you know, is there one particular can you describe it?
Flamenco honestly is like I mean it's another thing that it's a very like blanket term, but the flamenco I
Is it
was
really?
listening.
Is it blankety?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the artists that I kind of think in mind, I guess for those watching, is I would check out Rodrigo y Gabriela, and it's a guy and his wife, and it's two of them. It's just two guitars, but the wife, I think she's one of the greatest guitarists on the planet. She plays like drums on the guitar while also playing rhythm guitar. So her right hand does like this, and then her left hand's also like playing chords. Like it's really crazy.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, but him and his wife do this, but they take a lot of metal influence. Like they actually had a gig a few years ago where Robert Trujillo was on stage with them playing like Metallica songs. But that was like early Anastasia. It was I say it flamenco, but it was like flamenco acoustic rock. So with like some jazz influence, and we were playing a lot of jazz. But I'd say to answer your question of like commercial songs, the most popular song I can think of is like Diablo Rojo is like their most popular song. That song's in like it's in like TV shows, it's in movies, like it's in
Diablo Rojo?
yeah, and that song's in like I said, it's in TV shows and movies. I think the only like the biggest show I can think of it's in a scene in Breaking Bad. Their music's in Breaking Bad. Then like through multiple parts, like in action scenes, they start playing flamenco music. That's Rodrigo y Gabriela.
Oh, and now that you bring it up, I think I might have like heard the name before.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that came to mind when you were saying flamenco
Mhm.
was the Doob interlude on the Down 2
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
I fucking love that
Oh, it's great.
song. Oh my God. And I've told that camp before too. It's like, you guys got to do a whole album that sounds like Doob Interlude,
That would be cool. And I took inspiration from that on this one because there is a track I wrote on this one that is an interlude, and it basically pays homage to original Anastasia because there's a flamenco track on that album.
Oh, wow.
But it's a quick like minute and a half interlude. It's instrumental, but it kind of pays homage to like, hey, this is what we started as. You know what I mean?
Might like, it's gonna kill me, but like I might. When is the official release drop? When's it coming to streaming?
So streaming will be August 26th.
I can't wait that long.
No. So we have discussed doing a promo where, I've been talking to some of the people that run and own like Wax Moon and Vinyl Conflict in Richmond.
Yeah.
Great people. And I want to do a thing where it's like, hey, you want to hear the album a week early, go to the store and pick it up, because that's what you used to have to do, was do that. So that's what I want to do. So if you go to the store and pick it up, it's coming out, I don't know, what's a week before August 26th? It'll be August 26th is a Wednesday. So whatever a week before that is, that's when it comes out if you want to get a physical copy.
Okay.
So, but you're welcome to listen to it whenever you want. If you want to go home, listen to it, throw it on. You know what I mean?
It's just that, like, I don't like I don't know if I should be admitting this publicly, but like I don't like breaking the cellophane of like CDs. I feel like these days they're just such like, I know they're not rare, but to me it's special. Like the CDs that I own now from the last like year or so I've gotten them directly from the bands, and it's like I'll listen to their streaming, but it's like I buy the CD because it's like I want it, but it's rare though that I actually like break the cellophane.
I gotcha.
So like I'm. All right, David, now knowing that you're also in Green Tips, and knowing that like this is a little bit faster, I'm kind of expecting to hear, Roofied by a Cop, or the Lana Del Rey song or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, but how heavy are we going with the later? How much of an influence did you have, I guess?
It's less of the punky stuff, I guess, more of like that kind of fast, like balls to the wall kind of thrashy stuff. Think, what is it? Noose for Lust. It's pretty damn thrashy.
What's this song called?
What's it on the record? Because I noticed it has a different name.
Is the song.
Temptation.
Noose of Temptation is the second to last song. That's a very like.
Fucking, I'm gonna break my rule. Take these out.
Noose of Temptation is the second to last song, and yeah, that's a pretty like brutal.
Noose of Temptation.
Yeah, that's the second to last song, and that's a pretty like.
SSR Dies.
SSR Dies is nuts.
That's the one where I think you're probably going to hear the most, like speaking of like Lana Del Rey Told Me to Kill You.
But I think
the song's awesome, by the way.
Thank you. It's a fun one.
I love that one. I keep telling them all the time, like, that song's got to come out soon. I'm like, I love that song. But
we may release it as a single.
Hell yeah, that'll be sick. I think, again, like, I'm not in Green Tips based on like what I've heard from Green Tips. The second track on that album sounds a lot like a Green Tips song.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is, going back to earlier what we were talking about with our buddy who mixes the EP for this, or the album, the buddy who's mixing the album, who's in Boy the Sandman. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, yeah. They're kind of new to me, but yeah.
They're like some of our best friends. Like, they're very amazing people. Also great band, like nothing but good to say. But he did all of the audio work and all audio engineering for this album. And that song specifically, he's like, I know exactly who wrote what on this, because it sounds like I feel like it sounds a lot like a Green Tips song. That second one does, but then I came in and I was like, no, we're going to slow it down and we're going to groove it. And so the first half of it sounds like off the first Green Tips EP, and then the click, boom, and then it's like slow, groovy, and so it'll be kind of cool.
I'm so excited to listen to it because like it really does make me think, I guess, to bring them up again, the whole down super joint thing. It's kind of like super joint, at least my what is the word I'm trying to think of? My fucking not impression of it, because what I thought I was gonna hear before I went into Super Joint Ritual was basically Down and I Hate God playing like punk, right? And I guess that's kind of what it is.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I wouldn't even call it punk. I'd call it more like 80s like hardcore and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that was a really cool concept. You take guys that are known for playing like slower music and then make them play something faster, and that's just like, I almost kind of want to be like, yeah, let's just go listen to it now.
Yeah.
SSR dies. Is that what I
Yes.
think it's about? Like,
Yeah.
is it really? Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of this songs, so, I mean, this album, I was an EMT 4 years, and for 4 years, I worked all over the state, all over the place, and I got out of it, and this album it's called Witnessed Tragedies. It's about a lot of things I saw in that career field, and basically that song is something I wrote about pretty much like views I had on healthcare and people in healthcare kind of get too big of a head. It's not really a thing against like SSRIs. It's more specifically a thing of like, there's a lot of people in
Fucking handing 'em
healthcare
out.
yeah, a lot of people in healthcare that get big heads, and that's kind of what that's about. I mean, I've seen people in healthcare make some like really stupid decisions out of like pride or big headness, and that's kind of what that song's about.
No shit.
Yeah, so
wow,
I mean,
that's a perspective that I feel like you don't hear that because the people in healthcare are, it seems like very often held as gods and demigods.
they're held as something more than human, and they're not, because at the end of the day, and I know because I did this for years.
Yeah. Because
at the end of the day, I've been a janitor, a maintenance man, and a medic calling in helicopters on somebody with their leg cut off. And at the end of the day, I'm still a dude with a job that has rent. You're a dude with a job that has rent. Everybody's a dude. You know what I mean? Everybody's someone trying to get by. I'm not better or more important than the janitor because like I did something cool. And that's what like some of those songs are about. And one of the best paramedics I ever met, who had been a paramedic for like 20 years, told me that like working at McDonald's is a job just like this. We're all people trying to get by,
totally like freak random question, but you mentioned someone's leg being severed before.
Yeah.
That wasn't the result of a motorcycle accident, was it?
No, sir.
Oh man, okay. That would have been fucked up because I had so there's an artist, Trauma Mammal.
Okay.
A very, very like interesting, fascinating person. But he was right. I interviewed him here. He was on a motorcycle and collided with a truck and his leg, like lost his leg.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he was airlifted him. Yeah, he was airlifted him, I think. But I don't know. I was like, oh my God, what would be the chances of like,
that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be really crazy. This was over in Amelia when I did that, Amelia County.
Okay.
When I work, it's like west of Richmond, like an hour.
Yeah, okay.
But that was over. That was a couple years ago now. But that's really what a big chunk of the album is about. Because I mean, it was a lot of the lyrical content was written kind of towards the end of my EMS career. Now I'm a maintenance dude. I told you I work on the thermostats and stuff. But
sure.
A lot of that album is basically me writing like a lot of that album is me processing like not only with the things I saw, but kind of like coming to reality with like this life's over. What do I do now? You know what I mean? Like, because it's like a lot of people in healthcare and those big jobs, they identify like who they are with that, which I was like that. So I'm like, what am I going to do now?
So what happened when you were done though? Did you feel better about writing all those lyrics?
Yeah.
You did, really?
Oh yeah. I had a therapist who was like, yeah, you got to put all that into that album. Because I told him about the album. He said, all that's got to go right in the album. And I said,
Shit.
Say less. And it went into the album.
Okay, well, what about when you were writing it, though? Was any of that process, did you feel like you were, like, reliving things that you didn't want to be reliving?
Some of it, yeah.
Really?
There's a couple songs on there like that I rewrote them, and I was, like writing them out, and I'm like, oh, this is hitting close to home. But I'm like, that's what you need to do for art. For good art, it has to be genuine. You know what I mean? I can't, like, half-ass stuff, I've got a couple songs in there that are, like, very, like, POV, and they're supposed to be. So, I mean, and I think that's one of the cool things about metal, though, is it helps you kind of like process harsh realities of things. Like one of our biggest influences for this project, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned yet, is Acid Bath. I'm like a huge Acid Bath fan, and I called him up one day and I told him, I'm like, well, there's songs on this album, and when the kite string pops, that when I listen to them, I feel like I'm like re-walking through certain calls and stuff like Dr. Seuss is Dead, like that song. That song's about a crack house, and I'm like, the lyrics are like describing me at like 4 a.m, be in the middle of nowhere, going through like a house with like 10 people overdosing in it, like, and I'm like, I listen to this album, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm like back, you know what I mean? I'm like right back in the trenches. So I'm like, but I like that. It's cool because it helps you process stuff like that, and that was something with this album I wanted to help recreate.
Wow.
So
Am I gonna
yeah.
get? So I'm gonna get like the acid bath feel on this a
Oh
little bit.
yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, especially the first song.
Okay.
The first song, everybody's like, "This is an acid bath song," and
No way.
I know. I'm like, Sammy and Dax are gonna come like beat me up once they hear
Got to
it.
meet Sammy a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Metal Fest out in Milwaukee.
That's so cool. I've always wanted to meet him.
Yeah, cool guy. Cool guy.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I've heard. Is he's like a very down to earth dude.
Yeah.
So
How was everybody else's like? You guys weren't there's the third member that's not with us today.
mhm.
Yeah. So what was his input?
So Travis, I mean, the writing for the most part is him and I write stuff. We kind of, together we structure it into a song. And then we usually give that song to Travis and say, like, your drums have free reign over it. So he pretty much just hears like the structures and then adds drums to it. All the drums on the album, I'd say for the most part, are like 100% his like obviously he's playing everything, but in terms of like creative writing, like he wrote all the drums for that album. I think there's like one song where I was like, hey, like you should play this a little different because it fits the atmosphere better. And I think that was Stalking the Shadow, which is the fifth song. I was like, because he's playing like crazy shit over this like really quiet ambient thing, and I'm like, hey, but all of that's him. And honestly, like, I think it's fair to say Travis carries this band because he's an insane drummer. He's like an insane drummer. He doesn't even know how good he is. He's crazy. And I think without Travis, we'd be a couple of bums with loud guitars. Like, he's a really, really good drummer. I mean, insane.
Yeah, he'll just play like casually some of the most complicated shit I've ever heard, and then he'll still sit there and be like, "Yeah, it was okay."
Oh, that's all right. Last night, we were rehearsing last night, and I don't know how we got into this. We were listening to Judas Priest. We were packing up, and Painkiller came on, and he's like, "Oh, I want to try that." He said, "I haven't played that." So, I mean, he's 25, he's our age. He's like, "I haven't played that since I was like, I don't know, probably 16 or 17, but let me give it a try." He plays it off the album. Like, it sounds off the album, and then he's like, "Oh, it's a little rusty." Like, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm like, "You're fucking with me, dude." Like, he has to be fucking with me sometimes, but
It's
yeah.
gotta be something with drummers because it's like, okay, Tosh Peterson, right? I got to interview him here.
The Lady Gaga drummer.
Yeah. He said that a lot of times when he's just like alone, like playing, he'll play like these things that he knows are never gonna get recorded. He's never gonna use them, but it's just like it's a challenge for him.
Yeah.
He's fascinated with the like experimentation where it's like I feel like guitar it. Well, actually, no. I kind of feel like bassists are kind of like that too, because bass is a lot of like, that cannot be easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, Cole from Green Tips is like that. A lot of the
crazy
stuff,
bassist.
he's an incredible bassist.
Like,
I'm lucky to
insane.
have him. Sometimes I wonder why the hell he even joined that band, because he's way better than he needs to be for that project. But he'll just like rewrite bass parts, and it's some of the craziest shit ever. He's like, yeah, I just kind of came up with it because I thought it sounded cool. I wanted to try it out.
Wow.
I've been begging him for like years to join Anastasia, but he's got 2 bands already, so he can. I'm like, I get it. He's got
the
2.
other one?
Well, he's in Void the Sandman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Green Tips was first. He did Green Tips. He's still in Green Tips, and he does Void, and so it's like I get it. He's got 2 bands. He's not gonna take on a third, but no, I've been begging him for years. I'm like, please, dude.
That's like another thing that I love about the scene around here. It's like I did like a promo for. Oh shit! What I think it was, do you know Doomhour? They're like a slam band.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
You know Doomhour. Yeah. They booked a short tour like last month, and they had me do like a promo for like each of the towns they're going to be playing in. And Void the Sandman was on one of the bills, and I had never heard of them before, and they were described as like alternative metal, right?
So alternative metal is true. I like to describe. I don't want to speak for them because I'm sure they're going to see this. I, as a fan and a friend, I describe them as like new metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like, and
I think they sound like Linkin Park.
Yeah,
honestly.
like
really?
yes,
like their
and-
newer stuff.
Yeah, I don't think if Adrian's watching this, I don't think he'd like have a problem with me saying that because he's called himself that before. I think they say alt metal because new metal.
It's got that connotation.
Well, new metal, it's like you don't want to corner yourself into like, oh, we sound exactly like Slipknot or like Deftones. We're just Deftones. They're trying to avoid that, but it's new metal. I'd say they sound a lot like Linkin Park, like Chevelle and stuff like that. Totally different. I mean, they're like best friends of ours. So, I mean, we want to do like tours and stuff with them, but we totally different sounding bands. Like, because again, they make like it's like early 2000s, like I said, like Chevelle, Linkin Park, a little bit of like Mudvayne, some of that influence, very
Wow.
new metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was another thing, though. It's like I'm so surprised about how. Again, I'd never heard of Void the Sandman. I thought they were just like some local band that like ended up on that bill with Doomhauer. But come to find out that not only are you guys friends with them, you're also in Green Tips, and it's like so. I had no idea that like
Yeah.
it's what's so beautiful about the scene around here, at least from my perspective, is that like that's a great example right there, or the fact that like do you know Banana Slammer?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I know
Yes, I've
them.
done a show with them with Green Tips before
Oh, have you really?
at Gallery 5 a while back. They're
Oh yeah.
a hell of a fucking performance.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. But like I never knew that oh man, I can't really blow their cover. Hold on a second. There's
Well, I
another
know one of them. I'm not gonna say because I'm gonna respect the I'm gonna
Right.
respect the cover, but I know one of them. So I mean,
The last band that was in here, like I brought. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I just should shut up about Banana Slammer because I'm always like, "Hey, did you know that like one
Yeah.
person like?"
you know, I know who they all are. Yeah, like, yeah.
yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Like, there's one. If anybody outside of Virginia or even Richmond, no, outside of Virginia, like you probably won't know what I'm talking about. But I feel like people around Richmond and Virginia do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what I'm talking about right now. But no, it's just it's such a beautiful scene around here. It really is. But it's like so okay. There are tons of slam bands. There's tons of like there's a lot of hardcore bands, but again, like it doesn't. You named a few other doom bands, but do you feel like you're kind of in a scene of your own? Like not a scene of your own, but at least like in at a league of your own or something.
Well, that was kind of the goal, is
Was
because
it?
like, well, yeah, because I don't listen to hardcore. I have nothing against hardcore, but I don't listen to it. And I mean, but that's because again, my roots. I told you my roots was I was playing blues and country on the back porch, old country, not not Jason Aldean, like old school, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash. So I mean, I came from that. So I've always listened to music that grooves and is heavy and it grooves. But I'm like with hardcore, like when I hear a lot of it, it doesn't like it doesn't have that groove that catches me, which is why I'm like it's fun, it's cool, yeah, I respect it, but I don't really listen to it. But I'm like with Richmond, there's a lot of hardcore bands, but there wasn't a lot of doom bands. I don't really want a lot of sluts. That was the goal when we started. Was like I kind of want to like basically have another like genre to this because it's just good for having music variety. It's good to have variety of stuff like that. So yeah, but I mean, I can't really think of to answer your question though. Yeah, I kind of do because it's like there's not really a lot of other than Guzzum. Guzzum's really good, and I'm talking strictly Richmond. If we're going all Virginia, there's a lot of them, but strictly Richmond, the big ones I think of are like Guzzum and Greenhead. But Greenhead really doesn't do like they do shows like here and there, but they're not a very like I don't see them play like all the time. You know,
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't really see them like I'm not really sure what they do now, but I'm like Guzzum, they play a good amount. But even it's cool because it's like you're your own band, like kind of you got your own sound, but then it makes it hard with bills with like when you're setting up like show bills because then I'm like, oh well, people are coming here to hear like hardcore and hear stuff to kill each other. I'm like, are they gonna like all of our like bluesy riffs and all of our? So I mean, it's fun to do that though because I feel like this album incorporates. What they know, like what a lot of people in that scene are coming to hear, but it also introduces like a new kind of sound maybe they have or haven't heard, which is cool to me. So yeah,
No, that's got to be pretty cool.
yeah.
Where are you at in terms of like the music that you came up on that like brought you to what you're playing now?
So honestly, I think like the first band I like vividly remember listening to was The Clash. Actually, love The Clash, but I think like where I kind of fell in love with music was Black Sabbath. Actually,
Oh yeah.
like fucking love Black Sabbath. Then it was like Black Sabbath, and then one of my friends in high school was like, "Oh, you got to listen to like Slipknot." I started listening to Slipknot, and then I was listening to like Metallica, Megadeth, and then I got really into around like I don't even know what year it was, but I got really into like punk, things like Smut Peddlers, um, like Dead Kennedys, Anti-Flag, stuff like that. So it's just been like a lot of different stuff. And I like when I write stuff, I don't really think like, oh, I want to sound like this band. I want to sound like this riff from this song that I really like. It just like that stuff kind of takes like a back seat. It's like there in my head. Like I've listened to that stuff. I know that stuff. I like that stuff. But I'm not really like thinking about like what I'm taking inspiration from, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. And it sounds like that's probably the ideal way to be inspired, like when it comes to like putting the pen to the paper or the whatever kind of song construction you're going to be doing. It's because it's not like, it's not like a straight rip off, which is okay. I mean, I'm sure there's probably like really famous songs that have been like total rip offs of other ones, but that's probably because you can probably end a song, like finish writing a song, knowing that like you did without any guilt, knowing that you didn't like. Yeah, I kind of took that from,
Yeah.
I have written a few riffs like that where I finish writing and I'm like, oh man, this sounds fucking sick. And then I'm like listening to music and I'm like, ah, fuck.
Oh, no way, really?
And
I'm
I just
really
have to
guilty
scrap
of that,
it.
too.
Wait, so what does that mean? So you write a song, you get all geeked up on it, and then later, somewhere down the line, you realize, oh, wait a minute, I stole this from like a fucking
Yeah, I've scrapped several riffs because
No
of that.
way.
Yeah, because because they're like carbon copies. Because there's a fine line between like inspiration and imitation. And if I hear something and I'm like, okay, this is literally just like this song. Like I remember writing one riff and it was like this really slow, fun riff, and then I played it and I was like, it's verbatim the same thing as, and I didn't even intend to do this. It's just like subconsciously, but Filter. Like, hey man, nice shot. It was just that riff.
Oh no!
It was literally just carbon copy, and I was like, okay, I can't reuse this, so I just scrapped it.
I feel like everybody should get one pass on that type of thing because if you think about what was that song? I think it might have just been called "Cocaine" by Buck Cherry. Oh shit! Wait, you guys are 25. You said
I know Buck Cherry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. This is before your.
I was going to say. Well, I was saying my dad does like a lot of his music. He plays a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, look, for all Buck Cherry's fucking good. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Like they really were. But like, so the song, it's that song. It's like, I love the cocaine. I love the cocaine. So
I think I know that one.
You know that one? Okay. So the
Yeah.
riff is. There's some people listening to me right now that know exactly where I'm going with this. But so it's like, there's that riff. And then, and I got to credit Seth Putnam from AC for like pointing this out. But and then there's fucking, oh my God, shock me. I couldn't remember. I was like, wait,
My
is it
Kiss?
Cold Gin? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for like brain was frozen for a second. But,
I can hear that. Yeah,
it's
because
the same fucking riff.
The Ace Frehley riff.
Yeah, it's the same exact riff.
I do hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But both songs are good though.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like I feel like everybody should be able to get one like rip off pass.
Yeah, one pass.
I'm trying to save the rip off pass for something like really good that I just can't leave behind.
Oh,
Magnum
really?
opus. Yeah.
Oh man, is there anything you can reveal like as to? So you haven't decided upon what? Like you're gonna
Probably
rip
not
off?
written yet.
No, I'm half joking. Like if I come up with something and I realize I ripped something off, I'm just like, nah, it's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't even like modify just maybe like one tiny like.
I do that. I do that.
I try not to do that because I'm just bad about doing that. Because I've tried that before, and then I end up just coming up with something else that I think sounds better that isn't like ripped off, and I was just like, you know what, I better spend my time like coming up with something new. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think those are both really healthy ways to look at songwriting.
I feel like too with because he mentioned Black Sabbath earlier, that was also the first like rock or metal I'd ever heard when I was playing a lot of guitar younger, and like I feel like for as different as the way him and I write, that's kind of the same foundation we both have is like Sabbath. Like I don't have any tattoos. I don't know if I'll ever get a tattoo, but if I ever were to get one, it would be Black Sabbath. Like I'm like obsessed with Black Sabbath, like love Black Sabbath. So I mean, I like to think they influence like both of our writing a lot. I don't know if we have different eras of like writing. I don't know if you write like Dio era, get inspiration from that, but I
probably have taken some inspiration from Dio era.
Yeah.
I still think like Masters of Reality, though, that's, I think, the best
That's like
Sabbath record.
Yeah, I have that on vinyl, and I literally have sat and listened to that record like 5 times in a row before. Like it's like I
Wow.
love Sabbath so much.
Did you ever check out any of the Tony Martin era? Was that ever of interest at all?
I'm I'm kind of bad about like I'm one of the people that likes Black Sabbath that it's like after Ozzy left, I just like have never listened to I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
even know
yeah.
what anything sounds like. But I'm not against it. Is Tony Martin was that before or after Dio? Like when was that?
After.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was after, and then Dio came back for one record, but it's different. Like it's a lot. It's different. It's definitely
Yeah.
different. But I kinda, to me, because I love the Tony Martin era,
Mhm.
but to me, I kinda feel like if you do love the Ozzy era, you can have an appreciation for the Tony Martin era.
What's a good album I should like check out to
Oh,
get kind of
okay.
a taste of that era?
Okay. Y I see, that's a bad question for me to answer because
Okay.
honestly, I mean this on these rosary beads here.
Yeah.
I love all the Tony Martin releases. I guess if I had to maybe tell you one, the first one with him, Eternal Idol, and then a couple years later, Cross Purposes.
Okay.
But then again, I don't know. You might love Headless Cross. Some people maintain that like Headless Cross is like the best Tony Martin album. To
Headless
me,
is that the one that has like Turn Up the Night on it?
No, that's gonna be Heaven and Hell, right? First Dio
Well, the
era
song
record. Am I correct in that?
no, it was on the second one. Mob
That was
Rules.
the second one.
Mob Rules.
Mob
So Mob
Rules.
Rules
Okay,
isn't
yeah.
Tony Martin.
No, it's Dio. It's Dio. Yeah,
Okay, all right, yeah, because I was gonna say I've heard that like pieces of that
Fucking
album.
awesome album.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah, I'll need to check out.
So what's your favorite Ozzy Sabbath album? Is it Master?
Oh yeah,
Is it really?
Masters like that like flawless record. Like not even like a single second that's wrong with that album. It's literally flawless. Like I love that album.
I mean, it's a perfect record. I mean, it takes you on a journey, you know.
You know what's weird? And I never expected to get to hear this from Kurt Windstein told me that Volume 4 took him a little while to like
Really?
love. Yeah.
Volume 4 is also like really like I think what is it, Master Reality, and then what was Volume 4, and then Sabbath Bloody Sabbath the fifth one? Those 3 collectively are all just like on the same level of it. But that's surprising that it took him a little bit to like 4, because I feel
I
like 4
know.
sounds pretty similar to 3. Like it's like I feel like it sounds pretty similar to 3, but that's surprising. But that's kind of cool.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just expected. I just figured like, oh, like, sludge god, like Kirk, he's gonna like no explanation for 4 was like needed for him, but no, and like and stuff like that. As I'm doing this is where I learn more and more the definition of a musician. Like I ignorantly assumed just that example that Kirk Windstein would love Volume 4. Well, no, like there were things that didn't immediately, jump out at him.
Yeah.
Fuck, what's another like really? The other thing I'm learning is this: that musicians don't all want the same things. Like I always just assumed like everybody's going for the hookers, for the cars, the drugs, of course, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm learning though is that, and I'm getting this feeling from you guys too, is that like the big juice and the reward, it's like it's when you're sitting down there with the guitar, when you're practicing your vocals and stuff like that. And like, so would you say that like a lot of the enjoyment and the fulfillment comes out of the process?
I think for me, the most enjoyment and the fulfillment comes out of just seeing somebody enjoy the song. That's really for me, which writing is also a huge part. I mean, some of the most fun I had with that was sitting at home writing and hanging out with David writing stuff. But to me, it's like the equal parts is the writing it, and then like you're writing and playing it, but also just seeing like I'm content with like going to a show that sells 2 tickets if the 2 people like have a good time. Like I don't ever forget that. Like when we played Gallery 5 years ago, that show had like 4 people at it, but there was somebody in the crowd who like very clearly didn't go like out very much to a lot of events, but I could tell they were having like a very good time at this event and enjoying the music, and I'm like, that's all that matters.
Really?
That's really kind of what like knowing somebody heard it and went like, that isn't complete dog shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's for me, like, a very, but that, and then again, like, writing it at home, because I mean, it's like, I really like to just noodle and play, you know, a lot of stuff, and it's like, writing it is also a big fun too, and then kind of seeing where that goes. So I think that's, but.
Do you think that's some of the reason why, let's just like, let's be assholes for a second, okay? And musicians are artists, we'll keep it musicians, sometimes get looked upon by non-musicians, let's say career types, I don't know, fucking, oh, man, I'm not gonna say people in healthcare, because I don't want to shit on anybody like that,
not
but
that
it's
bag
just,
of worms.
Yeah. What, say it again?
Not that bag of worms.
No. But like I'm saying, like I was trying to think of somebody that gets like like a bad rap, like a banker, right? Like somebody on Wall Street, something like that, right? Like my God, the generalizations are making that I'm making, not you guys.
Yeah, insurance guys.
Yeah, there you go, insurance guys.
Yeah,
those guys. Like, so the musicians get looked at as like, oh, they just sit around all day and they play, and they never get anywhere, right? But okay, anywhere. First off, where is anywhere? Okay.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
say on that.
Maybe they fucking do. Maybe they don't get anywhere because they're already there. That all it takes is the guitar on their waist or the drums in their hand. Like, so they already made it, right?
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I mean, like, it making it, and you know, as someone called myself and this band a bunch of dead end deadbeats, what is dead end? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's, I think with me, with art, as long as the whole purpose of art is you're putting it out and it's supposed to make somebody feel like something, that's kind of the purpose of art. As long as art's doing that, it's done its job and it's not dead end. And yeah, like you said, it's like, making it doesn't have to mean that you're like on a tour with Metallica across the world. Making it can be like, oh, I went and like made enough money from this show. Or it can even just mean, like I said, like you're having fun playing it. Cause I mean, I've had, think we both had people in our lives tell us stuff about that, of like, oh, it's, you know, going nowhere. And there's, like I said, someone specifically in my life recently called us dead end deadbeats. And I was like, well, what is, you know, is your idea of it dead ends or deadbeats? Is it like, if your idea is like, oh, we're not on tour going selling out Madison Square Garden every night, then yeah, I guess you're right. But it's like, if you compare that to somebody who's never done any kind of art, who like is scared to do it or just like isn't skilled enough to do it, then I'd say we're doing pretty fucking well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's at least how I view it.
I could be wrong about this, but I feel like as a society, we're starting to kind of see through a lot of the smoke screens that used to define, success. Yeah, you know, and we're starting to value more just the personal satisfaction. You know, the you know what I'm saying, right? It's like,
it's like something you can relate to, because I mean, it's like you're saying the smoke screens. It's like, it's kind of hard to relate to like a really big band that sings about partying because they have millions of dollars. Like, so it's like, if I like, let's say I'm listening to music. It's like, again, my job is like, I'm a maintenance guy. I, as a maintenance guy, cannot relate to like Motley Crue singing about like, you know, going and sleeping with like 10 different groupies in a night and then going and crashing a Lamborghini. I don't know what that's like. I don't have any.
It actually happened, I think, right? It was the whole like.
Yeah, it was Vince Neil.
Yeah, well, that's funny because I made up that scenario in my head, but like just as a hypothetical, and now you're like, wait, that happened, right? And I'm like, probably. Like,
I don't think it was a Lamborghini.
This is a Ferrari.
Yeah, but it's like, I can't relate to that. I don't have any fucking money. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just some dude that plays riffs, but it's cool, like, seeing other bands, local bands, sing about things that maybe you understand and go through, and then also they're on the same level of you. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I absolutely love Crowbar. I'm a huge Crowbar fan. One of my favorite things about them is like, Kirk is not a celebrity. He's like a dude like you and I that's doing a job. And I mean, and David saw Crowbar a few years ago when they were playing at like the Camel, like small venues.
They played at the Camel?
Yeah,
no way. I didn't know that.
A couple
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it's
Cobra Cabana.
No, the Camel.
They played at the Camel.
Yeah,
and they
no shit.
And I mean, Kirk, like, you know, you can ask him, like, Kirk, I mean, he's like in his 60s and he was moving amps and stuff. And I mean, I'm 25 and it's like I'm 25 and I work a job where I have to like lift and I'm in good shape and I have to do that stuff and it wears me out at 25 and in good shape. I mean, he's like in his 60s and he's carrying him and Pat Bruders, and I can't remember the guitarist's name, but all those guys, it's like,
Matt?
yeah, they're all like normal. They're everyday people that are like, they're working musicians. They're not celebrities. And that's why that's like one of the many things I love about Crowbar is it's like everyday working people that are basically singing about things you can relate to. And it's very raw. It's very things like you can look at that guy and go like, oh, there's something I can relate to with that.
Yeah,
So
I agree. And you want to see just a machine in terms. I mean, they're all exactly like you described, of course.
yeah,
But Tommy, that drummer, like, oh
yeah,
my god, like when he, I remember, like oh shit, this is a couple years ago. Like I pull up to the bus, right? Hadn't seen him in a while. It was like, oh shit, good to see you again, everything. But so
yeah.
I see Tommy, right? And he's like, he is in this mode where he's unhooking the like fucking like hitch or something like that,
Yeah,
and he's pulling his drums out, and I'm just kind of like, like, motioning, like, "Do you want me to help?" or something like that.
yeah.
No, 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 no.
No,
Like
I'm locked
he's
in.
doing it himself,
Yeah.
And after the gig, same thing, like same thing. Like he's breaking it down himself. Like nobody's helping him or
And they still
anything.
do that.
Yeah.
It's like they don't have, and that's what I like is they're like working people. You know what I mean? They're like I said, they're not like huge celebrities, and I like that. And that's
Do you guys take that as like sort of like lessons? Then do you try to then implement that into your own sort of like regimen?
I don't know if I really take like lessons from it, but I respect it as like they're doing on their own. I'd say the biggest lesson I take from it is it redefines like your vision of success as a musician because like when I was I've been playing since I was like 11. When I was a little kid, I thought that success was again being like Metallica or something, but it's like I'm a really big fan of like Elder, Elder.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I saw Elder a few years ago, I was like, that's also success because I'm like back then they were playing smaller venues, but then I'm like, well, they're making a living doing this, which is more than most musicians can ever do. So they're making a living playing music. They're enjoying what they're doing. And I'm like, that's amazing. So yeah, it's like I think it redefines or kind of reimagines like what your success as a musician looks like. Is it's like not necessarily being like the most well-known musician on the whole planet, but being like a good one and an everyday person is important.
So are you saying that then that it's just like a different scale? Like, because as you were saying that, I was thinking about, I've only seen Elder once,
Uh-huh.
and it was at Psycho 22 in Vegas.
Oh,
Like
okay.
in 22, and I remember like that weekend they were like the band to
Yeah.
see, and during their performance, I remember I looked around and I saw like. Shit, who did I see? Not only did I see a lot of the other bigger bands, like, watching them, I also saw, like, a couple different, like, industry people who like, not musicians, but, like, important people in the industry.
Yeah.
Everybody came out for Elder, but they didn't play, like, the main stage. They played
Yeah.
one of the, like, mid-sized things, but
Yeah.
it was still like, "Oh, shit," like, Elder's playing this weekend, like, so
Mhm.
is that how you're kinda, like, describing it? Like
Yeah, it's just like the scale of it. Like you can still be successful and like I don't know, have people like your music and come out to see you, even if you're not like again as big as like some superstar group like it's like Metallica or something.
Yeah.
Because it kind of makes you reimagine like people like smaller bands too. Because Elder, which I don't view Elder as a small band, but compared to again like large radio artists, they're a smaller band, and it kind of helps you reimagine or redefine your basically how you're viewing success, which I think is cool. Because again, all like Elder, Crowbar, I Hate God, again, those are all like everyday people you'd meet, and I really like that. I think that's really cool.
Isn't that crazy though? Like you were just talking about how you said I consider them a big band, right? Like we look at a band like Elder
Uh-huh.
as a huge band.
Yeah,
Okay, do you know the band Sun? Like
I
SUN?
do.
Yeah, like
I do.
Sun to me is fucking like huge, but yet like I don't know, the guy at Giant who does like Metallica
Uh-huh.
or Megadeth, he might not know who Sun is, but to us,
It
like they're
is
huge.
crazy
Yeah,
because I view like Acid Bath as like a huge band,
sure.
but most people I talk to don't that like even listen to metal don't really know who they are. Same thing with like so I guess it's okay to like talk about this because it's been confirmed, but we're opening for Mesa at one of their shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at Richmond.
Congrats.
And thank you. We're very excited. But I mean, I view Mesa as like a huge band.
Right.
But everybody I tell, like, we're opening for Mesa, people are like, who the fuck is that? And I'm always like, no, it's like, trust me, it's a big band, you know. But it's like, it's kind of one of those things that if you're not like involved with that scene and sound, and you know, you're only listening to stuff that's like on the radio or just like on streaming, like you're not really gonna find artists like that, which is kind of unfortunate. But it's like, I view them as a huge band. Like whenever the venue, because it's a Richmond Music Hall.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
No way. I haven't been there yet, but I heard it's nice.
Phenomenal venue.
Very fun.
We've played twice. We opened for, Rickshaw Billy's.
Yeah.
We opened for them there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and that was so much fun.
Damn. How did you get the Mesa gig?
The guy who books there, who's like in charge of booking, and he books a lot of the Broadberry shows. Years ago we played there for, Howling Giant.
That sounds really familiar.
They're really good. They sound a lot like Mastodon.
Okay.
But like later Mastodon. Really good band. But we opened for them, and they're a bigger band. They're not as big as like Mesa or Rickshaws, but they're bigger. I mean, they go on tours and stuff. It's their living. We opened for them. And I don't even know how we got that, but we opened for them, and then the one of the ladies that works with the guy who books for that place, I guess, really liked us. And I think us having that sound earlier of not being one of the only bands that has that like doom sludge, stoner sound, we typically get calls for opening for acts like that. But basically, I'm going off to answer your question. The guy who books for that place, he likes us and is aware of us and was like, oh, I think you'll be a good fit. So he just emailed me and offered me the opportunity, and I was like, hell yeah. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. Which what's crazy is him and I on our group of buddies were going on vacation in North Carolina, and like that week, and we like him and I are literally like leaving the vacation early to go do this show.
Oh, no way.
So but yeah, I was like, absolutely, I'll do it. But I actually, it's cool knowing that guy, because I always email him about opening. When Crowbar's coming to Broadberry, I emailed him and was like, can we please open for Crowbar? And then he actually, I was shocked because he was like, yeah, I'll submit it forward. And he submitted us, and I guess somebody down the line was like, no, we kind of have another band picked out.
And Heavy as the Head got it.
Yeah, which I was like, that makes sense. Why? Because they're a bigger band. And I think they kind of fit that sound a little better. But I was just like, I always do that when bands come through town. I'm like, can we open for them? Like, please. And then sometimes, once in a blue moon, he says yes. So that's how it happens.
I heard that. I heard that you know that guy Matt Bacon's Bits on Instagram?
I don't think so, no.
I don't believe so.
You'd probably know his face if you saw. You kind of look like him, actually.
Do I?
Wait, is it what's he from?
I think his Instagram name is called Bacon's Bits.
Okay.
But his name is Matt Bacon, and he's got he does like PR, but he's got like but he does like gives advice like on Instagram, like amazing advice.
Does he do the cigar?
Yes.
Yeah, I know him.
Oh, he would probably be so happy that you just said that, because that's how he tries to brand himself, as the cigar guy.
Yeah, I always see it's like 3 things that bands should be doing. Yeah, he's a cigar. Yeah, no, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. But he said that though. He said that like, don't be afraid to just email like local promoters for that. And actually, the band A Kiss for Burial, like a slammy kind of deathcore type thing from around here. That's how they played Summer Slaughter with like Hatebreed.
Oh wow!
And did Internal Bleeding play that? No, I Snapped on Sight. But that's the kid Dexter, their drummer, 16 years old, right? Just relentlessly emailed like the promoter, and eventually got a response, and they became friends.
Yeah, that's how it works. Like I told Adrian, the guy who did that album, one of my hillbilly sayings is like, if you shoot into the Grand Canyon enough, eventually you're gonna hit a frog or something. And that's how I view with like the emailing, is I'm like, if you like, I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, if you email enough venues and enough people, eventually, based even on like statistic, one of them at some point has to respond. But I do that all the time, because I'm like, the worst they can do is say no. I recently, I DM'd Pat Bruders from Crowbar. I DM'd Total Shot in the Dark, like, because he followed and liked one of our posts, and I was like, hey man, like, my name is Nolan, I got this band, and we have this album coming out, and all of the artwork, which I would I'd like to talk about that later, the artwork, if that's okay. But all the artwork we did in New Orleans, I'm like, we went to New Orleans for that. Like, you want a copy? Total shot in the dark. And next morning I wake up and he's like, yeah, here's an address. Send it. I'd love to listen. So I'm like, oh my God, so I had to call David and I was like, the dude from Crowbar is going to have a copy of our album,
I want to see if we can call him up right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if like.
No, you should. That'd be crazy.
That would be pretty funny.
No, but yeah, tell him, I guess next time you talk to him or see him, let him know that we're sending him a copy soon.
Should we do this? I don't know, because they might. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Fair enough.
Maybe not.
They might be like writing or rehearsing right now or something like that. But that would be fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, that'd be hilarious. But it's just you gotta take those shots because that's how we did stuff with Music Hall. Is I sent them emails for like years, and one day they were just like, actually, yeah, you can't open for so and so, and I was like, okay. And then we played, and then they liked us, So that's how it works. I mean, you just gotta, I don't know, keep sending out messages. Like with the same thing with the Crowbar thing. When I asked Zach, which is the guy that helps us book those shows at Music Hall in Broadbury, when I asked him if we could open, I wasn't expecting to get a response. But again, later the day, he's like, actually, yeah, sure, I'll put it through. And then they're like, no, they have a band picked out already. But it's like the fact we even got a response, I'm like, okay, like,
is that how you got to do it? Because like I'm hearing that. And all right, let me give you what prevents me from doing what you're advocating for right now. I don't reach out as aggressively as you do, as I probably should be doing. And the reason I don't is because I'm afraid that once my message lands, it will like offend whoever it is. Like, who the fuck is this guy? The fuck at it, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll try to like, I don't know, blackball me or something. But you're saying though, you think the worst they can just say is no?
I think the worst they can say is no. And I mean, the way I think about it is they work in okay, so the way because I used to think about that too, but then one day I realized they work in an industry that the whole profit and the whole product of the industry is performances. So if I'm a performer and I inquire about performing and you blackball me, then like you're just in the wrong line of business. You know what I mean? And not I say blackball as like you look at me and you're like, oh no, get the hell out of here. You're way out of your league. Like if you're doing that, then like you probably kind of just suck at what you do because it's like your whole job is to like find new local and just any kind of like talents, artists. So I mean, that's the way I view it.
That's such a good point. I never thought about that
because that's their demographic. I mean, it if you think about it in the aspect of like, I don't know, farming. If you're selling vegetables and you go to a vegetable farm and the vegetable farm is like, get out of here. It's like okay, well, do you want to fucking sell vegetables or not, bro? Like, I don't know, but that's the way I view it. Is I'm like with the bands, like there, and also I understand that not that I'm like a show, but I'm not any means a show booker, but I mean we put shows together and there's a lot of times where we have to find bands for it, and it's hard to find bands. It can be really hard to find bands that want to open. So if I'm doing a show and a band emails me and is like, you want to open? I'm like, hell yeah, sure. That takes stress off my plate from having to find somebody. That's how I view it. Is I'm like they're in an industry where they're actively working on finding new product all the time, and the product is artists and musicians, and I'm an artist and musician, so
Wow, I never thought of it like that before.
It's just a thought process. I mean, just you think about it like that, and it's like, hey, like I'm helping you out. I'm playing a show, we're helping each other out.
Right.
It's commensalism. It's not,
For me, it eliminates now my fear of that. Just as you said, it's like they. I'm probably making the problem bigger in my head than it actually is. Like people are probably nicer than the way I'm like assuming that they are.
People are pretty nice, I feel like, and I mean, like, I feel like people are, and that's the thing too, is like you just said, most people are like able to reason and like kind of see like, okay, let's check this out or this out. So I mean, that's just the way I view it. But
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that view.
Yeah, I mean, as long as, especially if you reach out in a nice way.
Yeah.
Like if you're not pushy about it, like obviously if you send an email to somebody and be like, hey, I'm the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
If you say no, you're a jackass. Well, then if they get mad at that, that's understandable. But if you're just like, hey, I'm so-and-so reaching out about this, if they get mad about that, like,
I try to be, and he brings a really good point. I try to be very like humble in which in general, I try to be humble, but like I try to do that in my emails. I'm just like, very simple.
Like that in person too. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're not big enough to have egos.
No, we're not big enough at all to have egos. No, no, we're buying merch on credit cards. We're not able to, you know what I mean? We're not, but I don't know. I try to present it as just very objective, like, hey, this is our band. This is what we sound like. We're interested in this show or interested in this venue. Here's kind of a taste of what we sound like. We'll send them like the link tree or something. We're trying to get a website started. We're figuring out how to do that, but it's like send them the link tree. You send them, the Spotify or whatever, and you're like balls in their court, and you're just giving them a very subtle like, hey, this is who we are. We're interested. There you go. You know what I mean? But like he said, if you email and it's like, we're this really badass band that's able to do this and this, it's like, okay, get out of here, jackass. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just the way I view it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I like that view. That's a view that I didn't have before. Like you just explained it. And I feel like I'm that much better off now because it's a different perspective that like.
Also, you offer a very unique and phenomenal opportunity, which is people get to come and talk about their art.
Me?
Yes,
Oh,
you do.
thanks.
Yeah, you
Thank
do.
you.
I mean, I mean that.
Thank
like,
you. Thanks.
Yeah, you offer an opportunity for people to come and talk about the art and kind of talk about what they're doing. I mean, there's people that, I just told you all that him and I, and we've put into that album. Without you, we don't have a platform to come and talk about that. You know what I mean? This is the first time we've ever come and talk about that. And I mean, like, you offer people a platform to come and talk about their art and really share a piece of them and their art. And I think that's an amazing thing because
thanks.
That means nothing if you don't have someone out there to help get it out there and listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you offer a very good, like opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
we're looking at the 22nd as a release for that, which is 22nd, you said, right?
So 26th is like the streaming, but I don't know, do you like, I don't know if you have a calendar. You don't need a calendar, but
No, I got a.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Wait, hold on. I got this.
Yeah.
Where's my? Oh, it's right there.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Check this out. Hold on. Fuck. Oh, that's so funny. But now I got to do this too. Fuck, man. When the hell did I get this old, man? I'm not even like.
Time flies.
How old am I?
Are we guessing?
Yeah.
We go first.
We talked about this once because I was like, I wonder. I think because you said that you were finding super joint demos in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
So
shit.
you're
right, fuck.
48.
Oh, come
No,
on,
not 48.
really? Shit,
No.
man.
No.
Lower than that.
Did I
was
go
gonna say
too? I'm
40.
sorry.
No,
I was
it's
just
okay,
thinking.
that's
I'm
fine,
thinking
bro.
if you're in 97 and you're going out on your own finding things, that's why I like my ballpark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why I was like-
at 43, but it was only because like I was on like different file sharing sites. and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Like,
See, I was closer. It's like Price is Right.
What was?
I said 40.
Oh, okay.
I'll take that. I'll take 40.
Okay.
But no, that's pretty fucking cool though. What you did, like, those are both really cool answers to me. Number one, because it's like, all right, 40 makes me younger than I actually am. But also though, estimating it based upon like when somebody was listening to the demos and unreleased
That's
stuff.
what I
That's
was
cool.
doing. And I was going to say, you look phenomenal, by the way.
Oh,
That was not based on like, how do you look? That was based on like, well, I'm trying to estimate like when people are listening to this.
Yeah,
so
that's really
why.
cool there. Now I kind of wish I was 48.
Yeah.
So the 26th, right? That's
Yes.
like,
So that's a Wednesday.
yeah, okay. So that's a Wednesday, and then as far as your live dates go, what are we looking at again? Like,
So the live dates will be the 26th, that Wednesday, and then the 29th will be Chesapeake. Because on that tour, the 29th will be Chesapeake.
Yeah, Riff House Pub.
Mhm.
Right.
Riff House Pub in Chesapeake?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Oh.
then that Sunday night, which will be the 30th, that'll be Simple Underground. Yeah, Simple Underground in
think so.
DC, Washington, DC. And then the fourth date will be at a place called The Den in North Carolina.
The Den in North Carolina?
Mhm.
Have you
That's
guys
on-
played or seen Chapel of Bones at all in North Carolina?
That place is really cool, but that's another. I don't know how to kind of get in with them because I've emailed and stuff, but I've talked to some people that played there, and they all kind of like know somebody there. I don't know. So, but I'd love to play there if they called or emailed and they were like, "Hey, come play." I'd be like, "Okay," but I don't really know who to get into. That's something I'm working on, kind of getting in contact with them. But they're a really cool venue.
Yeah, I did their first time there a couple weeks ago. It's a really cool venue.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chesapeake is kind of far from here a little bit, I think, right? Yeah. Where's the closest, like, to Fredericksburg or Richmond that you got?
So
Maybe the 26th date.
the 26th is in Richmond.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where's that show at?
Banditos.
Oh, Banditos.
Yeah.
Wait, on the 26th?
Yep.
Fuck, let me see if I'm going to that, because, like, hold on
You
a minute.
should. I'd love to see you.
Oh, yeah, no, I would love to see Anastasia. Whoa, shit here. Okay, hold on, let's just take a look. Shout out Avery from Vomit Dolls, who just messaged me, and I opened it accidentally, so now she's gonna think that, like, but really it's because we're doing this. So, wait, all right, so the 26th. What I guess that's a Wednesday.
I believe so.
Yeah, I guess there's
Yes,
really
yeah,
no
it's a
reason.
Wednesday.
Okay, because because like one of your sort of like brother bands, Green Forest, is in Buffalo, are playing here in Fredericksburg. So in Richmond, a couple days later, like I can go see it. Who's that show with?
So it's gonna be with Shovelhead.
Shovelhead AD.
Yeah, they've been here.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Shovelhead, Green Tips, and then Plutonium Womb.
Oh, that's a banger of a show.
Yeah.
That's a banger of a show.
Am I missing somebody? I feel like I'm. No, that's okay. It's the four of us. I thought I was missing.
Yeah.
It's us, Green Tips, Plutonium Womb, and then Shovelhead.
Oh man, that's every one of those bands are good. Oh, that's awesome. Wow,
That'll be
Richmond
really cool.
seems like there's a lot of good music here.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
There really is.
So no, it was cool making that bill, and then that's kind of the only shows. But we have that tour, and then right after that tour is the Mesa show, which I don't know who's going to be playing. Because so it was weird. So Rickshaw, we were the only opener for that, so it was like just us and Rickshaw, which was actually like kind of intimidating.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But for Mesa, we're like one of three. So there's
Okay.
3 openers in, but they haven't told us who else it is. But I am curious because I'm like, I don't know, because we were talking earlier about like there's not a ton of stoner doom bands, so I am like wondering who else they're gonna. Like
Let's make predictions right now.
yeah, I want to make predictions because I'm like, I don't, but then at the same time, like they know a lot more people than I do. So sometimes they'll call bands to open that I've never heard of. Like, what was that band we played with Howling Giant with that they were like a sludge band, but I can't remember their name, but they were a really small band that I'd like never heard before, but apparently they'd been playing shows for like 3 or 4 years.
Right. They're local.
They're Richmond, yeah, but I don't remember their Violescent.
Violet.
They were really good.
Really,
Apparently
yeah?
they broke up like not long after that show.
Oh,
But
shit.
they were like really good. But I am curious what bands they're gonna have because we're one of 3, so there's 2. And yeah, if we're speculating, I really don't know. I can't think of any.
I think Ooga Booga is kind of far from here, and I think Book of Worms is like, I'm pretty sure they're like Richmond based. So I don't know. That's one band I'm gonna throw into the mix. Is like
Book of Worms.
Yeah.
What do they make? What kind of music?
They're like doom.
Okay.
Yeah. They're the only other like, because Ooga Booga is kind of like. You guys would all be on a great bill together. That would make like a fantastic like Virginia stoner fest or something.
I'd love to hit him up because I think we have yet to play with like a sludge or doom band.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's not true. We've done the show with Howling Giant. They were like a sludge band, and then there was a band that was pretty active in Richmond years ago that we did a show with, but that was like 4 years ago. I mean,
Who's that?
Saturn Death Cult.
Oh yeah, I've heard the name before.
Phenomenal band. They were like one of my favorite local bands. Really good band. But they're not a band anymore. But I mean, we did a show with them. But that's the only time we've ever had like 2 stoner, like not stoner. It was like 2 sludge bands on the same bill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know those guys leather lung at all?
I don't, but I see green and weed, and I see the font, so I'm assuming it's some kind of like, doom.
Yeah, I call them party sludge is what I call
Party
them.
sludge? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, it's definitely sludge, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, the singer like kind of like dances and bounces around on stage and stuff like that.
Sounds fun.
Like, yeah.
That
I'm
sounds
trying
really
to get
cool.
him in here. I got to interview him like before as a band, but I'm trying to get him in here like next time they come through.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Great band. I feel like you'd like them. Wow, so you do have like a pretty good amount of stuff like on the horizon coming up. Yeah.
And made it all happen really fast. I was like, recently I was supposed to be moving.
Oh, yeah.
I was the guy that was gonna move.
Oh, shit.
Move didn't work out, to say the least. So I move didn't work out, and like we technically had our like last show, and then the move fell through, and then that week I made calls, and I called them, and I was like, yeah, we're doing a tour. I made calls. Yes,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah. So but originally we had our like last show, but all the stuff that I advertised as our last show, I just deleted it. I'm like, no, we didn't have a last show. We didn't have a last show, you know. So
just hoping no one remembers that.
Yeah.
So that we're not like seen as jackasses.
Yeah. Doing a show like 3 months later after our last show, but yeah.
What? You were going to Alaska, I think?
Yeah, it was.
And it just fell through.
Yeah, it fell through.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a
Wow.
hard place to try and move.
Yeah, I
So-
bet. Well, I can imagine. I don't know anything about how you
Yeah.
pull it off, but wow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right. Well, is there anything that I maybe failed to pull out of Anastasia that should have come out that I dropped the ball on or anything?
You can drop the ball. I think you're a phenomenal interviewer and conversationalist.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really nice because I think objectively I'm probably a really bad one.
No, I
So-
think I think you're a
Thank you.
phenomenal conversationalist. You ask questions I couldn't have even thought of, but the only thing I'd like to take a minute to talk about is some of the art on that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
He went through hell and back for some of that shit.
So, I'm sorry, but my fucking retching.
It's no worries. It's
I cut you. I'm so sorry.
no worries.
You went to hell and back?
For a lot of this stuff, he went through hell and back for some of those fucking photos.
So I was going to talk about. So
Yeah.
So
Do you want to hold it or?
of course, yeah. So
And don't smudge it up.
oh yeah. So Alaska move falls through very abruptly. So I'm back with my folks out in Oklahoma, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go back to Richmond soon. But we had a different album. We didn't really have an album cover in mind, but I had gotten really into like photography around this time, like Southern photography, like Southern Gothic, and I was watching a lot of old movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff. So I was like, I want to capture that like vibe and that atmosphere. So I'm looking at the map and I'm like, all right, I'm in Southern Oklahoma. I'm basically in Texas, like right in Texas. I'm going back to Virginia, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go to New Orleans, and I'm going to drive to New Orleans, and I'm going to find the creepiest, scariest buildings I can find and take pictures. And that's what I did. So I drove to New Orleans like the next day, and I started going on forums, and I found all of these abandoned buildings in the middle of it wasn't really in New Orleans. It was like 2 hours outside of New Orleans and around the South. But it was like I found all these abandoned buildings. And it was abandoned churches, and I went at like I'd never been to Louisiana, so it was kind of scary because it was like I'd never been to Louisiana, I'd never seen a bayou, so at like I got into New Orleans at like 1 a.m, and I just started driving to all these places I found, and this photograph in particular was taken at an abandoned church that was in this bayou. And not really a bayou. If any Louisiana people are watching this, they're going to be like, he wasn't in a bayou. He was in it, which they're right. It wasn't.
Shout out Nadia Vizier because she told me all about the whole bayou situation down
Yeah,
there, who
so-
lives up and down the bayou and all that kind of stuff.
But it was this photograph was taken in a state park that has a lot of like swamps and stuff in it. But the church is abandoned. It's been abandoned since like the 70s. And I took this photograph around 1 a.m. And I was like, well, it was really creepy, like really scary, because like like Louisiana, that part at night is just really creepy. That's why there's so many like urban legends stuff out of there. But this was taken about 1 a.m. for my first time ever.
Cool. I've
Um,
only ever been to like the real commercial parts.
Yeah.
Of NOLA. So this is outside. Where is this like I know like there's like Harahan or Metairie. Those are the only two like metro new. But this is
Yeah.
outside even that.
So this was about an hour and a half north of New Orleans, and it was in a town called Madisonville.
Okay.
I had to cross that bridge. So this was really scary too. I had to cross that bridge that connects you from like New Orleans to like mainland over the bay. It's like an 18-mile bridge. It's really scary because it's like the rail's like this big.
Whoa.
The rail sucks, and it's also like 1 a.m, so it's pitch black. And then afterwards, the next morning, one of my buddies was like, "Oh, that's the largest bridge in North America," and I was
No
like, "Oh, I
way.
didn't know that." So I took that picture. I took a lot of pictures,
Man.
but that's just the front one. The back one was taken, and when I got back to Virginia, I wanted to recreate that. So my friend Aaron, who, if you ever need a photographer, whoever's watching this, you're gonna go check out Erin Murray. She does really good pictures. But I wanted to recreate that here. Well, I found an abandoned church in deep, like backwoods Appalachia, and her and I drove out like 3 hours deep into West Virginia, and we found this trail. Well, the trail for like 30 miles, no service. There's no one around. It's like middle of nowhere. And and at the end of this trail, there was that church in the middle of nowhere. But we took pictures of, Aaron in the dress, kind of getting like that Southern Gothic feel. And we took pictures of that church. Whenever if we might need to get you
the back.
Yeah.
Fucking back. I'm just gonna I'll blow this up. I'll put it
so
instead of doing this. So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's how that back picture was taken. We'll get you another copy so you can have one to open because there's artwork on the inside too.
I'm opening that one when I leave.
Okay,
here.
I was gonna say
popping it in the CD player.
The opening when you open it, the CD picture is also of this church, but this church. It's the middle of nowhere. It was like 10:30 p.m. and there's nobody around. And from the tree line, we start hearing people calling us and saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like that.
Were they people or?
I don't know what it was. That's what I'm saying. But that happened.
I fucking hate that shit.
I was telling skinwalkers or some shit. Yeah.
Well, the scary part was it was like I said, it was like 30 minutes, not miles, but it was like 30 minutes on backwood trails in the middle of nowhere and nobody's around. And that road's the only one way in and out. So like if it was a person out there, I don't want to fucking talk to whoever that is out there.
Right.
But no, I remember it had the same tone. It was, "What are you doing? What are you doing? From the tree line?"
That's a ghost
behind us.
That was a ghost, I think.
Well, something bad is I'm like being like the dumbass that I am. I basically was like, "Hello, like who is that?" And Aaron turns to me and she's like, "You need to not fucking respond," or whatever that is. And she said, "We're getting out of there." And I didn't get a response, but we got out of there and hauled ass afterwards. And then but that was really rural, like Madisonville, Louisiana. The front cover, that was like fairly rural, but it was like kind of rural, but not really, because it's like New Orleans, like an hour and a half, and there's a town like 10-15 minutes down the road. But
wow,
this picture was like, this was like, that's about as rural, desolate as you get. That picture was like middle of nowhere, but this one was really cool though. I shot a bunch of videos and took it. We had like 5 different pictures we couldn't decide on. And actually, we'll give one to you when they come out, but we're having a little booklet made we're going to put into this, and the booklet is going to be like other photographs of this church and this church.
That's awesome.
So that's the plan. But that's the only other thing I wanted to talk about, because we like almost got killed by a skinwalker for that picture.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to Coast at all? Do you know that?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. That's where I know skinwalkers from. It's just like it's on every single night. It has been since I think the 90s, but it's AM radio, right?
Okay.
It's like from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. and it's like much of the topic of conversation is that skinwalkers, the afterlife, cryptids, like Mothman, all that kind of stuff. And it's just that like all the time. But you know what I love about this though? Like this packaging is that like, okay, so the front cover is somewhere down in Louisiana, but you kind of brought it back home though.
Yeah.
Because for the back cover, so it wasn't like you were like, I don't know. I mean, even if you were, whatever, like it's all art, but like, fronting from like one, like,
yeah.
This is you're representing for both here.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Because the South is a wide, and I mean, I grew up like...
That's it. It's the South is
yes,
what it is.
It's to capture, and I want the vibe of that album, the atmosphere, to match that photography as well as it can. One of my favorite albums of all time to ever exist is The Mantle by Agalock.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't know that album, but I know Agalock, though.
Well, that's what so that album, you're supposed to listen to it when you're like in a snow forest, and all of the photography is like stuff relating to that. And that was a lot of inspiration for that one, is I was like, these songs are supposed to make you feel like you're in backwoods Appalachia, or like you're in a bayou in Louisiana you've never been to before, and you don't know what an alligator is. You know what I mean? Cool. Stuff like that. That's why the photography's there. But I told Pat that when I messaged Pat, I was like, hey, like I drove to New Orleans for that photograph.
Wow.
So, and I was like, so I hope all the Louisiana people know. It's like, yeah, no, I drove like 8 hours in the middle of the night to go get that picture.
And the fact that it was the middle of the night makes it like, the only word I can use to describe that is romantic, and I don't mean it in that. I don't mean it in the classical like romance movie, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
though, like wow, that is so cool.
Yeah,
damn.
So everything on that's legit. I mean, like I say, legit is like we did it all ourselves, and it was I think it's a release that we can confidently say we put like every fucking amount of like heart and soul into it.
Yeah, I would say so. And I haven't even heard the album
Yeah.
yet. but I believe you. I believe you.
So,
Oh man! All right, you want to shout anybody out or anything?
I want to shout out Green Tips. I want to shout out Void the Sandman for not only being a good group of people, making good music, and helping us with that record, because Adrian, which is the vocalist and the guy who writes a lot of that stuff, not only did he mix it, his sister, who's the drummer, a badass drummer, his sister did all the graphic design on that. So like the logos and the stuff on the back you see, that's all her. This wouldn't be possible without Void the Sandman. And as far as local band goes, so that's the big ones I'd say is Green Tips and Void the Sandman, Saturn Death Cold as well. I mean, they were like a sludge band before us that I really like kind of looked up to. One time I was like, oh wow, like they have a cool sound. That's as far as like local bands go. We have a whole, in that album, when you open it up, there's a giant thanks list of people from like our personal life and bands. Crowbar's in that. I told Pat that too. I told Pat, I was like, on the thanks list, it has a bunch of people, and it's got like Crowbar, Down, you know, all these bands we listen to, like I Hate God and all this stuff's on it. And then just a lot of like, there's also a lot of like, I have like Hank Williams on there, all three of them. And then I've got like David Allan Coe and a lot of country guys on there. Sierra Farrell's on there. So
hold on, I gotta ask you this before. If I don't ask you this,
yeah,
and you leave, I'll
be thinking about it,
shit or something like that. Just, on the whole like kind of outlaw country purity thing. What are your thoughts on Stapleton?
Chris Stapleton's really good. I don't know if I'd really call him like outlaw country, because he's moved into more like kind of the radio sounding. However, one thing I will say, I can see why people say that, because a lot of his themes are very similar to outlaw country. I like kind of despise like radio country, like stuff that it's like, you know, beer truck, camo, you know, big truck. Like I despise that. I'm a very big fan of like, you know, outlaw country stuff like that. I think Chris Stapleton is like around that. I think like he definitely has moved to more like kind of radio stuff, but his themes are similar to that. I think a better one that I use is like a modern day one is, you know, Cody Jinks.
Yeah.
Cody Jinks is like, he's the real deal. Yeah, he's the real deal. Cody Jinks is like a very outlaw. Like, I mean, he has a song, you know, Loud and Heavy. That song's about being, it's a loud.
I know that one.
Loud and Heavy. That's like his most popular. You might know it if he's playing it, but Loud and Heavy, I mean, that's a song about being a tweaker on a bender, and you've been on a bender.
Shit.
You've been on a bender for 5 days, and you're realizing like, man, like, what has my life become? And like, is this the life I want? Like, very deep, like, but you'd never catch that from some like radio country song, or it's like, come fish with me and drink a beer, sponsored by Bud Light. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you don't catch that from, so, but I love outlaw country. I mean, that's just like, and I think that there's some roots of that here too. So
he was he was in a thrash band, I think, before, wasn't he? Cody Jinks.
He might. I think
Pretty
you know, I have
sure,
heard that he might have been, because I mean,
I can't
a
remember who it
lot of the country and the metal really are like connected. And him and I were talking about this recently, because again, like, you know, we've been talking for a while now. Him and I have a lot of similar, like, different influences, but also like I feel like the foundation, because he listens to a lot of punk. I don't really listen to a lot of punk, but I also listen to a lot of outlaw country, which is really kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, but they're on the same ballpark of themes of like,
yeah, themes are definitely kind of overlapping a bit.
Yeah,
you know,
so it's kind of two sides of the same coin. You know,
you know what, Jamie Johnson?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was
he loved Jamie Johnson. He's from Oklahoma, so as
is he really?
Yeah, so as a little kid, I was like, he's from where I'm from. You know,
do that again.
He's from where I'm from. You know.
So you put that on, but that was real low because you're from Oklahoma.
That's how I used to talk.
Oh shit!
You know, but I've been here
he
for
cleaned himself up.
No, I've been here. I've been here for a decade now, so I try to talk like clean. But if I'm really like shit faced or inebriated, you'll start hearing me be like, "You saying?" You know.
You know what's a fucked up accent is when like you've probably heard at least a Massachusetts like accent before. Yeah. It's like
that's the JFK accent. That's what I call it.
Okay, all right.
The JFK accent.
Oh yeah, that works. But it's like when people from there try to mask it, right? So when like someone whose name like his name is like, okay, his name is Mark, okay, he's gonna call himself Mac,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but if he's trying to clean it up, it'll be like Mark, right?
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh, I have, like, growing up there, like
I don't think I've met a lot of people from there. I'd love to, because we wanna do a tour in spring that's like New England states, and I want to go up to there. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever met anybody from up there.
Really?
Yeah, but
you know, it was a trip was for the first time meeting someone from Australia.
Oh, really?
Right? It was Youngie from King Parrot, like grindcore band.
Oh yeah, I know King Parrot.
I had never met anyone from Australia before, and I met him, and it was like, oh, you know, like, good day, mate.
Yeah.
That's terrible, but like, it was like that. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
it was cool. It was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, Dave. Is there anybody you want to shout out or anything?
I just want to say I was going to one up you on the outlaw country stuff. I think Brantley Gilbert is the single best outlaw,
one of the best
country artists out right now.
Wait, Brantley Gilbert?
No, that's satire, because he makes very, very like radio country. So he's joking. Like, you know.
I was thinking, I was like, wait a second, I thought that guy like that sucked. No, I don't mean it like that, but you know what I'm saying.
He makes very radio country.
Oh,
but
it was somebody better call the law.
Yeah,
you know.
But your shout outs, do you have any in mind?
Not really that I can think of. I think Nolan really covered everything pretty damn well.
Yeah.
All right, well, the new album out on the 26th, Wednesday the 26th, and then the show that night at the at Bandito's. At Bandito's, with Shovelhead AD, who I've gotten the pleasure to have here. Green Tips, who I'm hoping will, come through here soon.
We are working on it, yes.
Whenever you like.
Yeah, we'll get in contact with you about that.
Yeah. Doors always open here. Sometimes like bands will ask me, like, they're like, can we do it this time? Can we do it that time? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, this is not like you got to get in by, like, fuck out of here. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, look, I'm like, oh, we had it scheduled. Originally, we had something scheduled here for midnight. That was like the only time they could do it. Yeah. I'm like one of those night owl types anyway, so to me that was like, oh my god, like on fucking midnight. That's like thought. You guys coming in at 6 o'clock was awesome, right?
Yeah,
it's totally awesome, and it even worked out later than that. But yeah, that's what I tell these bands is like the Saturdays are really always problematic for me. But any other days, the fucking later the better and stuff. But yeah, so Green Tips can come in whenever they want. Avoid the Sandman, anything like that. But all right, well, thank you so very much. I'm glad
thank you for having us.
Yes, I'm glad we finally, put this together. And when your drummer can make it next, he's welcome too. And fucking A,
Hell yeah. Thank you again for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
The honor is mine. So, all right, headbangers, stay wild, and we'll see you somewhere. All right.